The Junior A Championship now as well. I suppose the team that many people would have been saying from the outset, one of those teams are Bal. They had a good win the weekend, but Kilmaine is a team that I fancy myself from the start, simply because they're playing 1B, a high level of football. They had a win over Knockmore B the weekend. Didn't shoot the lights out, but just done enough to get there.
Yeah, the Junior A Championship this year, it seems to be going to plan. All the big teams are topping their groups. The likes of Bal, the likes of Kilmaine. There's teams there that probably you'd look at, and as you said, playing 1B football, it's huge.
Yeah.
And that should really suit Kilmaine. A bit of a shock when they went down last year, but there's teams around there, even the likes of Ballycastle, who got to semi-final last year. They'll quietly fancy themselves, getting further in the championship. So it's not going to be easy in that one, and there's a lot of potentially big games coming up in that, because as we said, the bigger teams are getting through. And Lahardon have won again yesterday. They're going very well in the
John
league.
Maughan at the helm has been super fit.
Yeah, I saw them in Division 1C this year, and they're not a side that you'd will win too many beauty contests, but they really know how to win a game.
Okay.
They're just a very, very good side, and they have players that have been around the block. They know how to close out a game.
Yeah.
Good solid defence, which is based upon, and they're obviously going to be a fit side with Mon around there.
Definitely. And another team as well, Achill. I mean, there's not a whole lot been said about Achill, and that's when a team is dangerous. They have a great chance. They have a good team there.
Yeah, they seem to have something about them, and they're level on 4 points with Kilmaine in that group. Ballycroy and Knockmore B wouldn't be as strong as opposition as they'll face, but they're a side that can get goals. That's something. I know they beat Bunnyconlin in the league. They came from 6 points down at half time, and I think hit 4 goals that day. And they're just a side that, as you said, they could spring a surprise. They're very, very decent on their day, and no one will like playing them. They're to take them out of Achill, that'll be a bit of a disadvantage to them. But at the same time, they're a side that, having momentum at their backs, they really will fancy their chances.
The other teams in, I suppose, to join Bal already safely through to the last 8. We mentioned how well they're going. They had a comfortable win the weekend over Kilcommon. Kilcommon now face Killala. Whoever wins that will be joining Bal the next stage. That'll be a hard one to call as well.
Yeah, close neighbours. It'll be an interesting game. Again, probably the beauty of the neutral venue is that it takes it out of the hands of you wouldn't like to be going down to, say, Kilcommon if you're in Killala's shoes, but it's I know Killala have a lot of injuries this year. There's a lot of players missing, which could be crucial come down to it. Kilcommon, a side that can win on any given day. They're just, yourself. you're a decent.
Keep it quiet here.
A decent side that can always, produce a result when called upon. So, it's again, that those games could be sooner now than the rest of the matches, and perhaps Mayo County Board will want to play them soon. And it all depends on Mayo again, but that could be the game of the weekend, that whatever weekend it's played in the Junior Championship, because there's no love lost, obviously, and with the place in the quarter-final at stake.
There's also no love lost in the last game between Ardee and Ballycastle. That has a big bearing on how things will go too, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Ardee are tipping along in Division 1C. They don't look out of place. They're a side, the likes of James Carr there. He's an excellent footballer. He's showed that with Mayo under 21s. He's really the standout for them, but they have a couple of good players there that will keep them in any game. They're a hard running side. They'll keep at it, and as you said, themselves and Ballycastle know each other very well, so that's going to be a big one.
Yeah, so that's basically it for the junior stakes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all we have in the championship this weekend. I suppose, as we've alluded to a lot of the way, it all depends on Mayo when the next round, and Mayo is today got drawn against Derry. So
that's it. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, we're hoping for a home draw. Got the home draw. Derry away, it would have been a different kettle of fish, that's for sure. Just speaking to a Mayo source earlier today as well, close to the camp, saying in terms of injuries have picked up the weekend, nothing too serious, we're told. So we're expecting that everyone that has slight knocks should be fully fit, rearing to go for the Saturday week, which we're assuming will be the day for Mayo and Derry. The time to be fixed, McHale Park. Look at it. it's about getting back up on the horse again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and you made a good point, or Angelina made a good point about it'd be lovely to see that weekend, if it was to be played on Sunday, a double header with the Mayo ladies. Yeah. Because they're playing,
I made that point actually. Go on.
They're playing in the county in the Connacht final that on the 2nd of July against Galway. I've been at the last two finals. They were both in McHale Park, and they were absolute cracking games. Really, really good games of football. Mayo, Galway snuck it 2 years ago. Mayo won it last year for the first time in 5 years, and I know Galway will be out for revenge, and they seem to be getting back on track this year. That'll be a brilliant game, and it'll be lovely to see for just to get supporters involved, to get to see the game. Great for the girls. I know McHale Park can be a lonely place when there's not too many around in the crowd, but it'll be great. It'll be brilliant for the promotion of the game, and I've absolutely no doubt it's going to be another brilliant game of football, because some of the matches Mayo ladies have produced over the last few years have been really excellent, and they did it so well last year. This year was a bit of a downtime in the league, but they have players back. They're going well in training, and you'd love to see it happen if it was the case that they could have the double header.
Hopefully we'll wait and see as the day goes on. And finally, just on that Mayo Derry game, I mean, it's going to be a huge game. We've seen what Mayo done last year in the qualifier. The draw was kind to them, and that's what we're hoping this year as well. Perhaps Derry, out of the four, we could have got probably the most difficult of tests. You could argue it either way, but Derry can be a very difficult team to face. We know what Longford can do, certainly from a few years ago, and they overcame Monaghan last year as well. So, Derry would be a good test. That's probably what we need at this stage, isn't it?
It is. There's no point, this Mayo team in the Carnation there right now, coming up against easy opposition and not learning anything about themselves.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have learned a lot from the Galway game. They'll, take that forward. Maybe, we might see new players introduced or players given new roles. Hopefully, as you said, talked about the injuries there. Keegan and Cafferkey were two players that went off injured over the weekend in championship action, but hopefully they'll be back. Colin Boyle, I think, played a full 60 minutes on Saturday, so it'd be great to have him back in the ranks. I saw Stephen Rochford at the Gary Moore game at the weekend. I'm sure the whole management team took in a few games and were casting an eye over players. So we don't know what sort of Mayo team we will see. We know we'll see a side that has been in this position before, albeit not against Derry. 2007, I think it was Pierce Hanley's one of his few games for Mayo when they went up to Derry and lost that game. There's not a lot of history between them.
I suppose back to last year, McHale Park. I mean, against Fermanagh, there was a few hairy moments.
Definitely, and I think Derry will play on that. They're no one expects them to win the game. They're coming down to Castlebar. They kind of have a shot to nothing. They'll look back on that Fermanagh game and say, look, we can rattle Mayo, and if we can get it in amongst them, a lot of people are writing Mayo off right now. They've lost again in Connacht. I wouldn't be writing them off so soon. They're a side that came so close to an All-Ireland last year. I think a lot of people are forgetting that. They still have a lot of good players. Maybe try and integrate some of the under-21s. I do feel that Mayo will win that game, but Derry can make it very awkward for them.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And of course, the game will be live on Midwest Sport with thanks to Killeen Sports Ground when the time comes around.